Good morning, everybody. Wow, look at that sun. It's out today. It's National Alaska Day. Yeah, the, the 49th state to enter the Union. Woohoo. And the biggest state, I might add. Oh my gosh, guys, this is muddy. Hey, hey. All right, see you in a few. Hi, everybody. Good morning. Crafting Journey here. That Journey chick over on Instagram. Welcome to another edition of Crafting and Crime Daily, the show that describes live trials. I got a good one for you today. So here, I thought the suitcase trial was this month, June. Turns out it's July. My bad. I'm sorry. It's, my brain has just been scrambled the last week. But I got a good one for you today. It's the state of Missouri, one state over, versus Rebecca Rudd. So we'll get to that later. First, it's National Alaska Day. Don't we love Alaska? It is the largest state in the Union and so beautiful. I can't wait to get there. I'm going to be, perusing jobs up that way. And if that doesn't work out, I'm going to go visit because they've got some amazing stuff. I found this one attraction that you can only see a few ways. I don't know if you can actually drive there, but anyway. You can see it by plane. It's called the Dr. Seuss House. I'll put a picture of it there. Also known as the Goose Creek Tower, apparently. Now, the reason people call it the Dr. Seuss house is because it's just bizarrely irregular. If you look at some of the houses in Dr. Seuss and you look at this house and you're like, oh, and it's not finished. This guy has been working on this house for years and he's not finished with it yet. Interesting. So in addition to being the largest state, this state has the largest mountain ranges, including Mount Denali. Remember the Denali? Was it the Denali? There was a reference to that in Twilight because they were in Seattle and their cousins lived in Denali, I think. Yeah, something like that. Anyway, I might have my lore a little off. Now, long before Russia settled into Alaska, this was populated by at least 3 different Indian tribes. And I'm going to read them to you because I can't memorize them. Inuit, Yupik, and Tlingit. And they lived off the land. There was beavers, fish, and whale fat. Yeah. So they did quite well for themselves in this frontier. Alaska is also known as the land of the midnight sun. And there was a large gold rush into Alaska, into the Klondike, but people found it very difficult to get back out. They'd get in there, get their gold, couldn't get back out again. Also, this is home to the Iditarod, where they put the dogs on the sled. Oh, wouldn't that be fun to see? They go 1,150 miles from Anchorage, Alaska to Nome, Alaska. This event draws thousands of spectators and many online viewers. It's, their dog sled. It's a dog sled, yeah. I think I'd be really scared to be on one. Now, I'm very curious. A.K. Rose, have you been on a dog sled? Because if I come up there, we got to do a dog sled. I'll probably have to take something for anxiety first. But I want to try the dog sled. So if you have any Alaska stories you want to share, put them down in the comments. I would love to hear them. So today I'm using my new Louis Vuitton cup, pink. And Louis Vuitton. Now, if Louis Vuitton ever came out with this actual color, pink, and their logo, oh my God, I'd be all about that. But they don't. They use that ugly brown. But, And you're thinking, oh my God, that's a lot of coffee. It is, but here's my thought. I can drink a little bit of it in the morning, and this afternoon, I can turn it into iced coffee. Oh my God, yesterday, at work. I know. You're like, oh, another work story. I know. No, but I just get so tired, like 3:30. I'm like, because of this boring work that I'm doing. So I went down upstairs and bought a Starbucks coffee, just a iced coffee. And it's not a lot, and I didn't get any chest pain, but I put it over some crushed ice, and it was just delicious, and it did the trick. I was fine. It was probably the walk downstairs that did the trick, but whatever. Then not to toot my own horn, but I want to tell you the story yesterday. Coming out of the elevator at work, and there's these two women there. One is in a motor scooter, the scooter thing, and she's pushing another lady in a wheelchair. I'm like, do you guys need some help? And they're like, yeah, the nurse just dumped us here. And I'm thinking, oh, that can't be right. Why would a nurse do that? So she's like, yeah, she just pushed us out the elevator and left. And she wanted to take the wheelchair with her. And I said, let me help you guys. So I took the wheelchair, and I said, where do you want to go? And they I was leaving for work, so we were going in the same direction. So they said, do we just want to sit out there by the bench till my ride gets here? Okay. So I pushed them out there. Well, I pushed the other lady had a motorized scooter. So I push her out there, and she sees her ride. She says, oh, there's my ride down there. And I said, well, I'm going that way. So I pushed her all the way to her ride. And she goes, if you just get me close, I can just get up and walk. She had like a 4-prong walker. So she walks, and she gets in the vehicle, and the other lady tries to hand me a $10 bill. I'm like, no, oh my God, I would never take your money. No, I work here. See the badge? No, can't do that. See, I do good deeds. I'm not a bad person. Work, HR, if you're listening, not a bad person, unlike the nurse who dumped them off at the bottom of the elevator. I would not take their money. I said, no. It's my pleasure to help you guys, and, so sad. Are they that busy? Really? Is it that busy that you can't take a few minutes to be kind to somebody? Anyway. All right, off my spiel. I was listening to this new trial last night, and I'm almost done with the trees. Almost done, guys. There's so much confetti in these trees. So this part, which I consider probably 5 sections, 5 large sections if you were sectioning it off. Finally getting through that. This is just going to be a very long painting to get done. Yeah. Okay. If you don't know, Mickey and I are doing a new event. We're going to do an official announcement. It is called The Great Escape. It's a similar event to Ticket to Ride. Not the same. It's hosted by Mickey Sunshine Creates and myself. We've got all kinds of sponsors lined up. It'll start August 1st, called The Great Escape. Wherever you would like to escape to, that's the landscape that we are asking you to paint along with us. Any landscape, fantasy, non-fantasy, it's just wherever you would like to escape to. If you need to go to Hogwarts, God bless you, do a Hogwarts landscape. It has to be at least 50 by 50, and you would have to have at least half of that completed by the end of September when the event ends to be eligible for the prizes. And we've got some fantastic prizes lined up, still lining up the prizes. It's going to be good. And I'm going to try to get as many of these vendors on my show as possible to talk to you about their small businesses. Yes. Okay. Do you want me to tell you who I got so far? You want to know? No, not going to tell you. It's a secret. All right. Crafting and Crime. This is the case of Rebecca Rudd or Missouri versus Rebecca Rudd. Now, if this isn't because this is the most bizarre case ever. Well, maybe not ever. We keep finding them, don't we? Well, Law and Order keeps finding them. I'm going to put the light pad on so that I can diamond paint while I'm chit-chatting. What am I doing? Stars. Of course, the stars are all up here, right? Are they? Oh, there's a few down here. Okay. So this woman is been charged with murdering her 16-year-old daughter. Now, I don't generally cover children, but this is a teenager, and I think this is a story that needs to be told. This woman, when she was 23 years old, she's pregnant, and she elects to give the baby up for adoption. Now, she had already had 2 little boys by different men, and had given them to their father to raise. Even though she knew he was a pedophile, she did not think that she was a fit mother to raise these boys. That's saying a lot. Now, the reason she's saying that is because at the time she was living at home with her mother, and she thought her mother was very, very cruel, because her mother was cruel to her when she was younger. And she didn't want these boys to go through what she went through. So she went to the courts and said, take these boys. And so she gave her boys up to this man, knowing he's a pedophile, gave them up. Then she gets pregnant by another man and has a little girl named Savannah. Now, Savannah was born on June 3rd, 2001. And if you go by what Rebecca is telling us, she said that she was helping this mother before the birth of her daughter to bond with, I don't know, I didn't understand, to the point where she started lactating. So by the time the baby was born, this adoptive mother was lactating, and she knew her baby would be in really good hands. And so she turned this baby over to, she started the adoption process where she would give this baby to this couple. Now, here's the bizarre part. While the adoption is progressing, like the adoptive parents did not take this baby home right away. Now, I don't understand this whole thing. So the baby is put in foster care until the adoption is finalized. Then Rebecca's mother kidnaps Savannah from the foster home and takes off with her. And nobody will do anything about it. So long story short, the adoptive parents do get Savannah back from the mother, the grandmother. They get her back, and they raise her for a period of time. She is on the autism spectrum, very high functioning, has ADHD, and by the time she's 16 years old, now her adoptive parents have split up. So for the last 5 years of Savannah's life, when the adoptive parents split up, now mom's living with another guy. The adoptive mom is living with another guy. They don't want her anymore. She's acting out. She's cutting. She's depressed. So also, I might add that during this entire time she's growing up, she does have a relationship with her real mom, her biological mom. She sees her every now and then. She's, it's a very open adoption. She knows who she is. They visit from time to time. I know. It's strange, right? She is sent back to live with her biological mother. Yeah. Who says she was very difficult to control. She was depressed. She did not want to go to school, and she was trying to deal with this. Now, this woman, Rebecca Rupt, lives on a 67-acre farm. I don't know what she was farming. 67-acre piece of property that she calls a farm. There's a metal shed on the property, and there is a camper. There's no electricity on this property, just a generator. So my understanding is that Savannah lived in the camper. Now, I don't know where Rebecca lived, but Savannah lived in the camper. Yeah. What a horrible life. This poor girl. Now, it's not until late 2016 that she's actually returned to her mother. So now this is where the bizarro story takes place. The mother says they had these cedar trees that they wanted to burn or chop down and burn. I don't understand the whole thing. So they were getting these cedar trees and they were burning them. And Savannah said, I'm going to jump into the fire. And she starts to go into the fire. And the mother grabs her and says, what are you doing? And by then her hand was burned pretty bad. And Mom got burned. So she said, I need to get you some treatment. Go in the camper and, put your hand in some cold water. So meanwhile, the fire gets out of control to the point where now Mom's calling all different. She was part of the volunteer fire department, so she's calling all these people that she knows in the volunteer fire department. And this is kind of near Theodosia, Missouri, 5.5 hours from my house, 3.5 hours from Crashly's house, middle of nowhere. So it takes anybody that wants to get to this property 20, 30, 40 minutes. Depending on where they're at. So they get out there, they get the fire under control. While they're trying to get this fire under control, sometimes the firefighters would say, hey, can I go get a drink of water from the trailer? And she'd say, oh, no. Savannah's in there resting. She's taking a shower and there's no curtains on the windows, so don't go down there. Yeah. So none of them see Savannah. What the mother says happened is that night after the fire was under control, her boyfriend, Pete, his last name was Pete, I think. He's there. She's there. Savannah's there. Savannah goes to bed about 11 o'clock. And the mom falls asleep on the table. Pete is, I don't know what he's doing. The mom falls asleep on the table. She wakes up later that night and she realizes that she hasn't given Savannah some medication. She says she had some leftover antibiotics that she wanted to give Savannah for her hand. Okay. And I think she had some pain medication. So she goes into Savannah's room to give her some the pain medication and the antibiotics, and Savannah's dead. So she decides she's going to burn Savannah. So she takes Savannah, if you're going to believe the story, drags her up the hill, puts her into the burn pile, and burns her. And then the next morning when she wakes up, she acts like she doesn't know where her daughter is. Pete's like, where's the daughter? Where is Savannah? I don't know. She's missing. So then she reports her missing. So it's at this point that at where she's reported her missing, and then the searches start. Everybody, all these different police agencies come out. They have the helicopters. They have the search dogs. Then they bring out the cadaver dogs, and the cadaver dogs hit on the burn pile. And so one of the officers had a stick and he kind of just pokes it into the burn pile and he finds some bones. Now he said the burn pile was about 7 foot tall, but he puts his stick into, closer to the bottom of the burn pile and they find sticks. So now they're starting to collect evidence. They collected 12 teeth, a jawbone, and they sent those to a forensic dental anthropologist to see if they could identify whose body this is. But this is the crazy story up until now. Now, the other thing that's really odd is that this is a bench trial, which is very rare that anyone would elect a bench trial. Also, this guy Pete was charged with her. They were both charged for murder because the police don't believe that that's the way this thing happened, that that's the way it went down. Oh, I forgot the best part. I'll tell you that in a sec. So they don't believe that that's the way this went down. So Pete was also charged. Now, my understanding is he took a plea and that he's going to testify against Rebecca. So that's to come. But she elected not to have a jury trial. She wanted the judge to decide her fate. That's scary. Well, either one is scary, so I don't know. And this judge is good. There was one witness where there's talk about a journal that Savannah kept a journal where the last page that she wrote, she was apologizing for being, disappointment to everybody, and basically it looked like a suicide note. So when the attorneys were done questioning this witness, the judge says, "Wait a minute, I have some questions." And he starts asking this guy questions. And I thought, that's great. I like when the judge, he says, "I need some clarification on something." And he asked some questions until he got it clarified. Smart judge, because he's got to decide this woman's fate. Oh, here's the kicker. So this woman calls her, they search for the daughter on the first day, and there's no sign of her. And she tells the police she must have run away, and she's somewhere on this property. I mean, it's 67 acres. Where's she going to go? So they're searching the property, and then they come back the following day with a warrant, a search warrant. In the meantime, this woman has installed locks on the fence to the property and to the trailer. And they're like, "We've got a search warrant. You need to let us in." And she's like, "No." And so the sheriff's like, "Well, I have the master key." And he comes out with these bolt cutters. And she's like, "Oh, no, I'll unlock it for you." So she unlocks everything, and they get onto the property. And she's like, "Do I need to be here?" And they're like, "No, we don't want you here. Stay away from where we're at." They at no time do they tell her she needs to stay there. So she and Pete go down to the courthouse and get a license and get married. How odd. Yeah. So they decide, what a weird time to get married. My daughter's missing, so we're going to get married. But I think they were thinking that if they got married, they wouldn't have to testify against each other. Anyway, weird case. So that's where we're at. I listened to the opening statements, some of the police officers, and that's how we're at where we're at. All right, today, this day in history. In Flint, Michigan, workers assemble the first Corvette. This is in 1953. Yay! How cool is that? And a few days later, it rolled off the line and into history. I've never had a Corvette. Have you? Now, that particular year, they only made 300 Corvettes. Now, this project, the Corvette project, was named Opal. They wanted a low-cost, sporty type vehicle that could compete with the higher cost vehicles like the Jaguar and the Ferrari. It featured a fiberglass body and a 6-cylinder engine, which means absolutely nothing to me. I know nothing about cars. Nothing. Just get in, drive. When that little ticket in the corner says you need an oil change, you go get an oil change. That's what I know about cars. Now, the first Corvette, what color do you think it was? I'm going to let you guys guess in the comments. What color do you think this Corvette was? It had a white interior. What was the exterior color? I'm going to have you guess. Leave me a comment. I love sharing the comments. Now, here's the kicker. The initial retail price was $3,490. What? Oh my God. Inflation. And it could go from 0 to 60 in 11 seconds. There you have it. All right, guys, that is the show for today. I am off to work. Gotta go to work. Yep. I'll see you guys later. Love you all.